I am the one who shines through you when you leave me room.
Hi everyone. Now, some of you would already know me. My name's Lisa Romero, and I've been working with Western esoteric meditation and inner development for very many years. I have 6 books out, one describing a sort of form of the meditative practice. It's quite different from Eastern meditative practice. Although, of course, the way up the mountain may be very different, but the view from the top's the same. It has clearly a way of working with the human soul that engages a ability to grow capacities. So I've been interested in this work for many years, and part of working with the virtues, as we have been doing for the last few years, is to offer what is sometimes termed as the wisdom of the lesser mysteries. The greater mysteries connect us with the great mysteries of birth and death and other realms of consciousness and spiritual beings. And I certainly talk about that. In fact, I've just talked about that in my Easter online course, which you can find the link to and access. But the lesser mysteries actually reveal something of the kind of development path. Now, the virtues have this ability to help us to develop something profound in ourselves, because it's not just for us. Clearly, when you carry a virtue, if you have a virtue, you can also give that virtue. That's part of my great interest in this work, and I've also been interested in the work of the saints for many years. It keeps slipping out in all of my work. I've had saints work in all of my books because there's such an affinity. So here I am in this podcast or YouTube channel, whichever way you're receiving this, just seeing if we can support these times that are ahead of us. Now, I usually offer a lot of this work with colleagues that I've worked with that are out of the same stream, the Western esoteric path, and many of you have met the colleagues that I work with on a regular basis, and there are many. But I actually asked a friend of mine, Andrew White, who has actually walked on quite a different path, much more an Eastern development and Eastern meditation path for many years. He's sat with various Eastern masters and really attuned his understanding of development in the Eastern traditions. And due to the nature of this work, I felt it was very useful to have this other point of view, even though Andrew has a really strong affinity to the saints. And we have both been separately working on the saints in our own lives for many years. So we found each other again. We've known each other 40 years. We come in and out of each other's lives, cross each other's lives at many different junctures. I think I was at one of his weddings, but I would say that we found each other again at a time when it was really interesting to say, well, where we come with the work that we've developed. He has, he's laughing in the background. He has produced 16 albums. We met each other when he was producing his first album called Conversations. And in this album, there was a particular, actually, I think the album cover was from the Tate Gallery, a picture called Carnation, Lily, Lily, Rose. Oh no, it was a song on the album. He had a daughter called Lily Rose, and I had a daughter, and one of her middle names is Rose, which is all linking to this particular song. So we might actually even play that for you at some point. But Andrew White, it's so great to have you, and your point of view, and not only that, your extraordinary skills as an artist. Now, if they want to follow any of my work, what I'm doing, and find my books, you can do so at innerworkpath.com. And Andrew, how can people find you, connect more with what you've done, and engage with your website?
Well, my website is andrewwhitesongs.com, and that's probably the best way. I'll be working on that site to upgrade it as we go with the work of the saints. But what I found very interesting, just very briefly, is how when we crossed paths again last year, that I told you I was working on an album called 12 Saints, and you were working on a book called 12 Saints. And that's really the essence of why we're here today, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so. I think that...
I mean, that's quite a coincidence.
Yeah, it is the case. But however, not so unusual for us when we meet up, something between us.
There's always something cooking.
There's always something cooking. So it was really good to make this connection. And also, I often work with artists because they help us to enter into the feeling experience. But one of the things I know about you from the first beginnings of all of your work is that you have such a capacity to experience the world around you and then to put that into music. And you've been doing that for years. I know one of the conversations we had when we were over in the area where you were born, where you talked about, learning music, you just wanted to be able to convey what you were experiencing. Mm. And so it's always been part of the path for you, music. It's not separate from the path. It wasn't so you could become famous, but rather so that you could do this work.
Well, I think that initially I was simply trying to express and in fact, what I was trying to express was inner development and experience. And that's why I can look back now and I can listen to early tunes and I can, it reverberates within because even the titles of songs, Walk in Light. And so it's fascinating to me listening to you and how you've grown and how you present yourself in order to help others experience on the path. And of course, my approach has simply always been just an expression of what was within through music. So, I mean, I know that people love my music and I get comments about how it's helped people, but that's never been an effort of mine either. I mean, really, in some type of way, it's quite a selfish pursuit because it's a self-expression. But at the same time, it does have an effect on others and also an effect on me simply because I can look back and to me it helps me remind me of who I was and what I was doing and where I was going if I happen to need that type of reminder.
Right. Well, is there anything else that you would want to say about yourself as the introduction to who you are?
Not really, no.
Well, it's going to be interesting to have these conversations, to listen to some of your music with this intention that we take this next stage of the practice through this realm of experience, something I know you have lived by, but also I've lived by. Many people can talk about meditation in a development, but it's not out of an experience, it's out of information. And I've really tried to say that even to various students I've worked with over the years, speak out of what you've experienced because it contains something else. So, yeah, I'm really looking forward to the year and what we can unfold. We've actually visited nearly all the places that we're talking about, and we've certainly had a dynamic with the saints. And some of those places we visited over 40 years ago, and they've resounded in both of our lives.
Absolutely.
So, and some of them we will visit before we get to the saint. So it is a journey, and we welcome you all on the journey with us.
I am the one who shines through.